Did you hear about the rose that grew out of a crack in the concrete, proving that nature's law is wrong? It learned to walk without ever having feet. Funny it seems, by holding on to its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete when no one else ever cared. Who wrote that? Was it this guy? Eloquently enough, right? Or was it this guy? Brilliantly written by Tupac Shakur, A Rose That Grew from Concrete. It is amazing how two worlds can marry completely worlds apart. One person from over here marry this person from over here, and together they bring something totally beautiful, something totally new. DJs do it all the time. It's called mixing, right? They take music genre from this era and bring it over here, and then they create a whole new sound. It's called remixing. That's what I did to my classroom. I took poets, today's poets, authors, rappers, introduced them to yesterday's poets, and created a whole new sound, a whole new thing for my students. My first day of teaching, I was introduced to 26 students who had had 15 school teachers in 1 year. I was teacher number 16. After I was introduced to these wonderful children by the principal and the vice principal, they walked out, and I had two passionate students argue about something so trivial, something so minute. But they were there, almost the same amount of time that Ted has given me today, going back and forth about something that meant absolutely nothing. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I asked myself if I was in the right place. I didn't know. I was unsure. So I said a prayer. I said, "Dear God, are you Google?" Because it seems like these algorithms have got me in an odd position and odd dimensions where God just don't seem befitting for those of us who want to be fitting into your plan. Universally, we've been taught God on demand. Seek not to understand, just tell God what you need and it will be right there in your hands. And there it was, right there in my hands. Out of instinct, I said, "Everybody, sit down. Take out a sheet of paper, write down everything you have heard about yourselves, good and bad, positive and negative. Write it down now." After that, I said, "Write down everything you want to hear about yourselves. Tell me what do you want to hear about yourselves?" After that, I asked them to write down their dreams and aspirations. And then I told them, I would try to help you get there. I would try to help you get there, right? So in order for me to get this classroom that had already had 15 school teachers in 1 year, and I had a job to do, very little time to do it, but I had to get some type of common ground. I had to share with them some things that we both had, right? That we were in the same place together. So I'm going to give you a little background history so you understand how I got them to reading Shakespeare starting at Tupac, right? How I got them to remix that. So I came in the classroom, like I said, we had this wonderful explosion. And from that explosion, I gave them that assignment. And from that assignment, I shared with them 4 things. 1, we are in the same place. We are here together. There is nothing about me, and there is nothing about you that I am afraid of. We are here in the same place, and we have commonalities. We have something common with one another. Right? That something common right here is really fear, because I am afraid of the future. And they were afraid of the present. A student kindly told me, "Ms. Jones, I'm unsure of the present because it has never bared me a gift." Imagine that. And I told them I was afraid of the future because I didn't understand what it would bring. And that was our commonality, fear. And in that fear, we recognized that doing nothing was not an option. we understand and understood the circumstances of doing nothing, and doing nothing was not an option. And so therefore, we had to work to get to the place we needed to get to. In this time frame, in the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I exploited their strengths. Every little thing that they did right, I blasted it. I told the principal, I told their parents, I made phone calls. Every time they did something right, I exploited it. Why? Because they had heard everything they had done wrong. They'd had 15 school teachers before I arrived. Everybody knew about the class. Everybody knew what was wrong, what was happening, what wasn't right. But I wanted to change the dynamic. I had to change their internal language. I had to get them to see something new, something different about themselves. I had to get them to a higher expectation within themselves. So I exploited their strengths, and I strengthened their weaknesses. How did I do that? Let me give you an example. Ayanna McKinley wanted to be a lawyer, and she could defend any and everybody. She was great at it. She spoke for those who could not speak for themselves, but her timing was off. She would just talk when she felt like it. That's not right. And then she would stand up and tell her story, right? And help the person who could not talk. But as an attorney, you can't do that, right? So what do? I take her to a courthouse and show her that you have a time to rebuttal. And if you don't go during that time, you could possibly lose a case. That was better for her. It was acknowledgement for her. Oh, what I'm doing is right. Maybe I just need to do it at a different time. And she learned from that. So in that first 2 or 3 weeks, we built this great relationship of trusting one another, bringing our commonalities to one place. From there, I honed in on Sister Soldiers, The Coldest Winter Ever. Now that's a heavy book with very colorful language, but we had all come from a colorful place. We had knew the language, we understood it, so it wasn't hard to start there. And I'm talking about kids who had never read a novel before, and now we're reading every day. Now they're excited about reading every day. We started with Sister Soldier, Coldest Winter Ever. We moved to Zora, Their Eyes Were Watching God. And then we went to Mari Evans. I will bring you a whole person, and you will bring me a whole person. And together we will have twice as much as everything. And then we went to Etheridge Knight, Walt Whitman, William Hensley, Invictus. It was my job to show them that they were the creators of their destiny, not their environment, not what they had been through, but they could determine right there on that day what they wanted and how they wanted it. And we, as a classroom community, could help one another get to the place they needed to be, that we needed to be. I was in the same place. And there, we got to William Shakespeare. And in that place, my students told me, Miss Jones, if we knew that he talked like this to the ladies, we should have read him a long time ago. We could have had some game, right? We could have known a long time ago how to approach a young lady. Isn't that something? How these two worlds completely far apart? Hip-hop with classic literature, two different worlds. I leave you with this. A good friend of mine, Dr. Carol Barash, said, the world is waiting on all of us to be unleashed. I'm asking you to take your world way over here and introduce it to someone else's world, completely outside of yourself, seemingly miles apart, and remix it to this beautiful opportunity to build. Thank you.